Jodie Summers, played by Tyrese Gibson, is one of the most relatable and frustrating characters in Black cinema. At 20 years old, Jodie thinks he's a man. He has 2 children with 2 different women, a girlfriend he loves, and plenty of opinions about how everybody else should live their lives. The problem is, he's still living at home with his mother and struggling to take responsibility for his own. What makes Jodie such a memorable character is that he's not a bad person. He's just immature. He wants respect without accountability, freedom without sacrifice, and love without commitment. Throughout the film, he constantly finds himself creating problems that he then has to figure out how to escape. Whether he's arguing with Yvette, clashing with Melvin, or dealing with the consequences of his own decisions, Jodie is always learning lessons the hard way. In many ways, Baby Boy is less about the streets and more about a young man growing up. Jodie spends much of the movie fighting against adulthood, but life keeps pushing him toward it. The people around him begin demanding more from him, forcing him to confront the reality that being a man is about much more than age. Tyrese Gibson was 22 years old when he portrayed Jodie, making his feature film debut in the role. Today, he is 47 years old, and many fans still consider Jodie to be the character most closely associated with his career. His performance was so natural that it often felt less like acting, and more like watching a real young man struggle to find his place in the world. If there's one person in Baby Boy who deserves a medal for patience, it's Yvette. Played by Taraji P. Henson, Yvette is Jodie's longtime girlfriend and the mother of one of his children. She loves Jodie deeply, but throughout the film, she's constantly forced to deal with his immaturity, jealousy, and endless drama. Yvette isn't asking for anything unreasonable. She wants stability, honesty, and a partner she can depend on. The problem is that Jodie keeps giving her reasons not to trust him. One minute they're happy, and the next they're arguing over another bad decision he's made. Despite everything, Yvette continues to believe that there's a good man somewhere beneath Jodie's childish behavior. What makes Yvette such a strong character is that she refuses to let Jodie walk all over her. She isn't afraid to call him out when he's wrong, and she often says what the audience is thinking. In many ways, she's one of the few people in the film actively pushing Jodie to grow up and take responsibility for his actions. In my opinion, Yvette is the emotional backbone of Baby Boy. While Jodie is busy trying to figure out what it means to be a man, Yvette is already carrying many of the responsibilities of adulthood. She's raising a child, managing a household, and trying to build a future, while dealing with a boyfriend who often creates more problems than he solves. Taraji P. Henson was 30 years old when she portrayed Yvette, delivering a performance that helped introduce her to a wider audience. Today, she is 55 years old and has gone on to become one of the most successful actresses of her generation, starring in films and television shows such as Empire and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. If there's one character who constantly keeps Jodie on his toes in Baby Boy, it's Melvin. Played by Ving Rhames, Melvin is Juanita's boyfriend and the last person Jodie wants living under the same roof. From the moment they meet, the two clash like oil and water, creating some of the film's funniest and most memorable moments. At first, Jodie sees Melvin as an outsider trying to take his place. After all, Jodie has spent most of his life being the man of the house, and now there's a grown man walking around, paying bills, fixing things, and sleeping in his mother's bedroom. It's a reality Jodie struggles to accept. What makes Melvin such a great character is that he refuses to be intimidated. He's confident, successful, and comfortable in his own skin. Unlike Jodie, who is still trying to figure out what it means to be a man, Melvin has already done the work. He has a job, takes care of his responsibilities, and isn't afraid to call Jodie out when he's acting childish. In my opinion, Melvin is one of the most important people in Jodie's life, even if Jodie doesn't realize it. Throughout the film, Melvin serves as a living example of the man Jodie needs to become. Their arguments may be funny, but beneath them is a deeper lesson about maturity, accountability, and respect. Of course, no discussion about Melvin would be complete without mentioning the legendary barbecue scene. Whether he's cooking in the backyard, joking around with Juanita, or going back and forth with Jodie, Melvin brings a level of confidence that makes every scene more entertaining. Ving Rhames was 42 years old when he portrayed Melvin, delivering one of the standout performances in the film. Today, he is 67 years old, and Melvin remains one of the most beloved characters in Baby Boy. If Jody is the baby boy of the title, then Juanita is the woman who spent years putting up with him. Played by A.J. Johnson, Juanita is Jody's mother and one of the strongest characters in Baby Boy. She's loving, supportive, and always there when her son needs her. But she's also reached a point where enough is enough. For years, Juanita has allowed Jody to live comfortably under her roof. But as he gets older, she begins to realize that she's doing more harm than good. She loves her son deeply, yet she understands that he can't become a man if she's constantly protecting him from the consequences of his actions. What makes Juanita so relatable is that she's caught between two roles. On one hand, she's a mother who wants to help her child. On the other, she's a woman who wants to live her own life. That's why her relationship with Melvin becomes such a major source of conflict. For the first time, Juanita is choosing her own happiness, and Jody struggles to accept it. One of the most powerful things about Juanita is that she refuses to let guilt control her decisions. She understands that loving someone doesn't mean enabling them. In many ways, she's the first person to truly force Jody to confront adulthood by making it clear that he can't depend on her forever. A.J. Johnson was 38 years old when she portrayed Juanita, bringing warmth, strength, and authenticity to the role. Today, she is 63 years old and remains beloved for her performances in films such as House Party, Baby Boy, and The Inkwell. Some characters don't need a lot of screen time to leave a lasting impression, and Pandora from Baby Boy is a perfect example. Played by Tawny Doll, Pandora worked at the same place as Yvette, and from the moment she appeared on screen, it was obvious why so many fans still remember her today. Let's keep it real. Pandora was fine. Between Yvette, Peanut, and Pandora, a lot of viewers felt like Pandora was the one turning the most heads. She had the looks, the confidence, and that kind of presence that made people pay attention every time she showed up. That's exactly why she became such a temptation for Jody. At a time when his relationship with Yvette was already on shaky ground, Pandora was right there, making things even more complicated. She was attractive, easy to talk to, and definitely caught Jody's eye. But somehow, Jody managed to hold it together. And I gotta be honest, a lot of dudes would have folded. Jody stayed strong and never opened Pandora's box. If you know, you know. That alone might have been one of the most unrealistic parts of the whole movie. What's crazy is that Tawny Doll was only 17 years old when Baby Boy was filmed. Even though her role wasn't huge, she made enough of an impact that fans are still talking about her more than 2 decades later. After Baby Boy, Tawny appeared in a few more film and television projects before eventually stepping away from acting and becoming a registered nurse. Today, she is 42 years old, but for many fans, she'll always be remembered as Pandora, the coworker who had Jody fighting for his life every time she walked into the room. Every great movie needs a villain, and in Baby Boy, that role belongs to Rodney. Played by Snoop Dogg, Rodney is Yvette's abusive ex-boyfriend and one of the most dangerous characters in the entire film. From the moment he appears on screen, you can feel the tension. He's aggressive, controlling, and the kind of person who always seems one bad decision away from violence. What makes Rodney so unsettling is that he refuses to let go of the past. Even though his relationship with Yvette is over, he continues to insert himself into her life, using intimidation and fear to maintain control. His obsession with Yvette creates constant problems and forces Jody to confront a threat that's far more serious than the petty dramas he's used to dealing with. In many ways, Rodney represents everything Jody could become if he never grows up. While Jody is immature and irresponsible, Rodney is what happens when those traits evolve into something much darker. He's angry, possessive, and incapable of accepting that other people have the right to move on with their lives. What I find interesting is how convincing Snoop Dogg was in the role. Fans were so used to seeing him as the laid-back rapper with endless charisma that watching him play someone this cold and intimidating came as a real surprise. To this day, many viewers still say Rodney is one of the most hated characters in black cinema. Snoop Dogg was 29 years old when he portrayed Rodney, delivering one of the most memorable performances of his acting career. Today, he is 54 years old and remains one of the most recognizable entertainers in the world. While Jodie and Yvette get most of the attention in Baby Boy, Kim has her own story to tell. Played by Angel Conwell, Kim is Sweet Pea's girlfriend and one of Yvette's closest friends. Living with Sweet Pea and her mother, Kim is trying to build a future while dealing with a boyfriend who's still figuring out how to become a man. What makes Kim stand out is that she's smart, ambitious, and not afraid to speak her mind. While Sweet Pea is cracking jokes and taking life one day at a time, Kim is constantly pushing him to get his act together. She's always challenging him to get up, hustle, and start thinking seriously about the future. In many ways, she's trying to help Sweet Pea become the man she knows he can be. Kim and Yvette spend much of the film navigating life in South Central together, dealing with relationships, motherhood, and the everyday struggles that come with trying to build a stable life. While the men are often distracted by pride and immaturity, Kim is one of the few characters who stays focused on what really matters. And let's be honest, Kim was a baddie. In my opinion, Angel Conwell was way out of Omar Gooding's league. Funny enough, life ended up imitating art because after filming Baby Boy, Angel and Omar actually dated in real life for about 5 years before eventually calling it quits. Angel was just 17 years old when she portrayed Kim, making her feature film debut. Today, she is 42 years old and has gone on to enjoy a successful career in both television and film. If Baby Boy had a definition of loyalty, it would probably be Sweet Pea. Played by Omar Gooding, Sweet Pea is Jodie's best friend and the guy who's always riding with him no matter what. Through all the drama, bad decisions, arguments, and chaos, Sweet Pea remains by Jodie's side. He isn't just a friend, he's a real brother. Now let's be honest, Sweet Pea wasn't exactly the poster child for maturity either. In a lot of ways, he was a man-child just like Jodie. While Jodie was living with his mother and avoiding responsibility, Sweet Pea was living with his girlfriend and struggling to keep his own life together. He talked a big game, chased women, and often found himself dealing with problems of his own. And speaking of his girlfriend, Baby Boy fans know exactly who I'm talking about. Sweet Pea somehow managed to land a girlfriend who was fine as hell, and some viewers probably spent half the movie wondering how he pulled that off. What makes Sweet Pea such a memorable character is that he's relatable. He doesn't have all the answers, he isn't some role model, and he definitely makes his share of mistakes. But when it comes to friendship, he's solid. Whether Jodie is right or wrong, Sweet Pea is usually right there beside him. He'll joke with you, argue with you, clown you, but when things get serious, he's showing up. Omar Gooding was 24 years old when he portrayed Sweet Pea, and many fans feel he stole every scene he was in. Today, he is 49 years old and remains one of the most recognizable faces from the film. If there's one person in Baby Boy who refuses to be ignored, it's Peanut. Played by Tamara Bass, Peanut is Jodie's other baby's mother and one of the biggest sources of stress in his already complicated life. Every time Peanut shows up, you know some kind of drama isn't far behind. Confident, outspoken, and never afraid to speak her mind, Peanut constantly challenges Jodie and forces him to confront responsibilities he'd rather avoid. Their relationship is far from perfect, and the tension between them creates some of the film's most memorable confrontations. While Jodie spends much of the movie trying to juggle different relationships, Peanut refuses to let him forget that there are real consequences to his actions. What makes Peanut interesting is that she's not willing to sit quietly on the sidelines. She expects Jodie to be present in his child's life and isn't afraid to call him out when he falls short. In many ways, she's demanding the same thing that several other characters are asking from him: grow up and take responsibility. In my opinion, Peanut often gets overlooked when people talk about Baby Boy. But if you pay attention, she's one of the people pushing Jodie toward adulthood. Every argument, every confrontation, and every demand she makes forces him to face realities he's been avoiding. Tamara Bass was just 22 years old when she portrayed Peanut, bringing confidence, attitude, and authenticity to the role. Today, she is 48 years old and has gone on to build a successful career not only as an actress, but also as a writer, producer, and director.